What's up guys, Exalt here, bringing you a quick little updated setup video for the Dragon Bones patch for ESO for Dragon Knight. Let's get right into this. We are a red guard. This is personal preference. Any race would fit this setup. I just personally like red guard for the amount of sustain it offers with its 9% stamina recovery passive and its adrenaline rush passive. Your next best bet would probably be Orc for its insane list of passives: the health, the stam, the weapon damage, healing, and reduced run cost. Uh, but like I said, it's personal preference. This gives you more base value regen with adrenaline rush, just straight up, because you're going to be constantly hitting things versus orc, helping you get to line of sight. We are running the serpent. We are also a vampire. Ideally, you want to be stage 3. So if you can, by any means, stay at stage 3 to help reduce the health regeneration deterrent and the damage from fire. This is completely optional. This will be explained a little bit more in depth in the CP section of the video, so stay tuned just a little while longer. We're also running Dubious Cameron Throne. 64 points in the stamina. This is our back bar on our one-handed shield bar. The biggest thing to note here is our 2200 stam recovery. Everything else you can see for yourself. This is our front bar, unbuffed yet again. Our gear that we're running 4 pieces of Clever Alchemist on the front bar, 5 on the back with our one-handed shield in order to proc it, and 5 pieces of Bone Pirate. Bone Pirate is probably the strongest stamina set in the game as of right now, for its just flat base damage that it gives with as much max stam as it offers, and its ridiculous stamina recovery. We're also running all weapon damage on the jewelry, but our paired set Alchemist. Let's start up here at the weapon. As you notice that I'm not running a special weapon such as an Asylum weapon or VMA, it's because of the 4-piece. Even though it's very minuscule, this 129 weapon damage helps counteract the huge turning point for most people when it comes to choosing Alchemist as their main 5-piece. Is your 5-piece bonus is only active for 15 seconds. Well, by me getting this extra 129 weapon damage, it helps counteract it just by a little, so it's not like you're not doing anything until you have your pot active or your weapon damage enchant on your back bar active. So also along with this weapon, or well actually this setup, is that 2200 stamina recovery on a DK is absolutely absurd. So I don't feel as if I need a special weapon such as the Asylum two-hander to rely off Battle Roar as much, because this is without a doubt the most stamina recovery I've had on a DK in a very long time, and just opting for just that much more oomph makes a huge difference. We're also running these poisons. The heal off of this is basically a miniature rally tick firing for 4 seconds just whenever, and knowing that has such a high chance to proc throughout the battle, it helps stay alive and yet again counteract the fact that your 5-piece bonus of Alchemist is only up for 15 seconds. It helps heal, because that is the hugest issue with Alchemist, is your low base damage and your low healing. Now you can opt out to drop these poisons for the double dot poisons, which are without a doubt the most damaging poisons in the game, and I was running these, as you can obviously tell, but just having this extra heal is a world's difference. Where we've dropped bow for one-handed shield just to have the mitigation, being able to block and not have to dodge roll 3 or 4 times to escape some of the damage, is a huge survivability increase compared to bow, along with the fact of this is the 5.5.2 meta. Wearing a bow, a standard bow build for DK would be 2 blood spawn, 5 bone power, 3 agility. Yes, it has more base damage, especially if you have the master's bow, but just having the option to an extra 5 piece is very strong. So there's another reason why I swapped over to this, along with our infused back bar. With bow, I felt I needed to have power to just try to stay alive versus having a one-handed shield to block a little bit more effectively and stay alive longer. So I've opted out to go with an infused and get more weapon damage yet again to combat the 5 pieces downtime of Alchemist. 2-piece blood spawn. Don't take this off of DK, not unless you're doing PvE, but the flat 129 stam recovery is huge for any class, and then the alt gen for Battle Roar and the tankiness. Another big thing to note is try to get a heavy chest of Alchemist made if by any means possible, or a heavy blood spawn helmet, or a heavy legs with a light belt. That's just going to increase your physical protections just by that much more. It's not detrimental, but any little bit helps, especially now since the damage is so high in Cyrodiil. Our skills: Reverse Slice. My past 2 setup videos, I've preached against this skill quite vigorously, but with AoE caps being gone now, it's actually worth trying in my eyes. I mean, granted, if you're running in a group, this is definitely the way to go, but this is solo. This is solely for solo build purposes. Wow, that's a little bit hard to say, but I'm about 87% sure that as soon as this video ends, I'm going to go back to Executioner, because it feels like I'm just pressured to try to get the kill. I need that extra 50% damage with Executioner, but it's a flex spot. You can pick it whichever one you want. Rally for the major brutality and burst heal. We've dropped Critical Rush and replaced it with Evil Hunter. At full range, I tested this the other day, but at full range, Crit Rush, I done 3k. Now granted, that was without Alchemist up, but I'm not going to pop a pot just to make my Crit Rush hit harder. So I've decided just to completely drop it and replace it with this for the extra 3% weapon damage, the ability to pull Night Blades out of stealth, and the major savagery, which sets up for your Wrecking Blow, or Dizzying Swing, excuse me, critting more, your Take Flight critting more, and especially your Vigor Ticks when you swap bars to actually go offensive. Dizzying Swing, main spammable DPS. Venom Claw. This skill is another flex spot, or you can just put whatever you want here, however you feel the battle needs you to set up for. I really like this over the most popular choice, which would be Rearming Trap, because it's way more cost efficient, and you can actually kind of use this as like a spammable. I mean, I wouldn't really opt to just constantly hit the person with this, but comparing it to something like a surprise attack, this is very strong, because you can do a heavy attack into Venom Claw, and that's at least 4k damage, even without Alchemist up. It's huge. Do not sleep on this skill. And that, compared to Rearming Trap, this skill is way more cost efficient. Rearming Trap is on par with Vigor and Shuffle, being nearly 3k stamina cost. This is only 1,000, so I really enjoy this skill. Take Flight, main burst, ultimate, and you're a Dragonite, so always have this on your bar. Back bar, if you have a Maul like me, you could drop this and put Heroic Slash to have a little bit of alt gen, but the AoE major fracture is really strong now yet again because of the no AoE caps, and the dot isn't that bad. Vigor for your heal over time. Hardened armor, damage shield, returns a little bit of damage back, and your major resistances. Igneous shield for 5%, minor brutality, stamina return, and most importantly, major mending. Shuffle for snare removal and 15% dodge chance. One-handed shield alt, probably the strongest ultimate in the game for survivability means. Lets you successfully heavy attack your stam back to full. Wait until you get another potion, even though it is just 7 seconds, but just 7 seconds of near invincibility is so strong. Love this ultimate. Really quickly, these are the stats without Alchemist up. 15.3k dizzying swing and 21.5k take flight. For your vigor, 17.3. This is with Alchemist up. $17.3, 24.3, and basically 20k, 19.7k, whichever one you want to say. Not to mention, with a pot up, you have 2500 stam recovery. For your CP, 56 Warlord, 5 Sprinter. Make sure to sprinkle a few points into this. Don't delve very hard into this, because there's still way more important passives to try to min-max to get to where the diminishing returns are capped, or soft capped, whatever, before the diminishing turns really sets in. But having a few points into this really saves stam. That's just the reason why I was opting to say Orc is the second best race for DK with this build on, because you're not very mobile, because you have one-handed shield on the back bar, so your only means of escaping is run. And yeah, saves so much stam when going from line of sight to line of sight. It's a blessing. Put points into this. 49 Mooncalf, 37 Tenacity, 56 Tumbling, 37 Shadow Ward, 37 Blast, yet again to counteract the downtime of Alchemist to give you a very high base Vigor tooltip, 61 Master at Arms, 2 Thaumaturge, 61 Precise Strikes, yet again, you've got Major Savagery on the front bar, putting you up to 40% critical rating. So that means whenever you cast Vigor and swap over, there's a higher chance to get a crit heal, which is up to 3k. I've clocked it in at 3k. And I don't even think that was with Alchemist up. I don't even know what it is with Alchemist up, to tell you the truth. Maybe 3400. It's ridiculous. 56 Mighty. 56 Ironclad, 26 Resistant, 37 Hardy, 49 Elemental Defender, 40 Thick Skinned. This is where the vampire part kicks in. With the new changes to Templar's Radiant, unless you're close to line of sight at 50% health, you're in very big trouble. Even if there is just one other person doing nothing but heavy attacking with a lightning staff, that is still kill range right now. So with Vampire's passive being active, which is undead, which means the lower the health you have, the more damage reduction you gain. This lets you get another potion active, get behind line of sight without having to dodge roll like 4 times, or block the radiant destruction and waste all your stam. It's huge. And then 32 quick recovery for yet again more heals. Quick tips quick disclaimers before I close the video. This is not a dueling build whatsoever. You can take it into duels and do mildly successful with it. I've tried it before, but when your arms start glowing red after if you do not burst them instantly with a Wrecking Blow, Take Flight combo, they will know what set you're running for sure. So that just completely nullifies all your chances to burst them, because your dizzying swing's easily telegraphed, your take flight's easily telegraphed, not unless you catch them in a dodge roll, and then with Alchemist up, that's easily telegraphed, so you do nothing. This is solely a run in, hit really hard, and run away type of build for serial solo play, which I advocate. These Essence of Immovability potions gives back stam, gives you major expedition since you're lacking that, since you're running one-handed shield, and it gives 10.4 seconds of immovability after the nerf. Give me 1 second. Yeah, 10.4. And then my second to go potion would be these. These are for whenever you're in a tower or you're cornered up. Whenever you're that cornered, like I said, in a tower, You don't need the major expedition because there's nowhere you need to run. You're already in the tower. So I swap over to these pots to give back health, restore health, restore stam, and then the movability. Um, that pretty much closes it all. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This has been Exalt. I'm out. Peace.